We're going to local talent. Chris Albanese, who apparently is very funny. That's what they tell me. And you're the truly local talent, right? You're like here in Seattle.
Photographers who like
Chris Albanese, the local boy.
Bill's is funny, and now what I'm going to read you, that's so going to belie everything he just said. So, here's the thing. I was asked to read. They said, would you like to read from William S. Burroughs? And I said, absolutely. There's nothing else I'd like to do more. I said, what would you like me to read? They said, well, what inspired you the most? Okay. That's roughly everything. So, I decided to take a little different approach. Has anyone heard of the cut-up method?
Yes.
Well, what I did was...
the cut-up method!
What I did was I photocopied, retyped, printed a bunch of excerpts from, let's see, I can tell you, Naked Lunch, The Ticket That Exploded, Soft Machine, Nova Express, Junkie, Queer, various recordings, interviews. Basically, I scoured and poured through every piece of material that I had of his, which is everything because I love him. And I printed it all out, and I cut it all up. And I put it all back together, and I cut it all up. And I put it back together, and I cut it all up. And what I have are these 3 little pages from everything he ever wrote. That's what I'm going to read you.
That's awesome. All right.
Here we go. I am not an addict. I am the addict. I start by throwing a scalpel across the room into the patient. He ejects a word, a spoken word, the written word, the virus that made spoken word possible. Since the virus in both male and female precipitates sexual frenzy through irritation of sex centers in the brain, the males impregnated the females in their death spasms, and the altered throat structure was genetically conveyed. Tampered and tinkered into sentience, the word has not been recognized as a virus because it has achieved a state of stable symbiosis with the host. And addiction. I am not an addict. I am the addict. The tinkers and smiths work pounding out metal rhythms as prisoners and criminals are led mute to the avant-gardes. Red crustacean men with eyes like the white-hot sky addicted to sulfurous slow-motion photosynthesis. I am the addict. I tinker the word. Everything is permitted. Having created one nova, I must make another. The more novas made, the less time between. We are running out of juxtaposition and junk and charred, stacked up bank vaults full of 3,000 years of flesh made of metal, and that metal is radioactive. Radium clock hands tick away. Time to move on. Only one turnstile. Heavy metal planet become death. Word is flesh and word is two. That is, the human body is compacted of 2 organisms, and where you have 2, you have word, and word is flesh. And when they started tampering with the word, that was it, and that blockade was broken, and the nova heat moved in. So, I'm alone, as always. You understand, nova is where I am born. In such pain, no one else survives in one piece. Born again and again across the wounded galaxies, I am alone, but not what you'd call lonely. Plenty of room for me in space, in time, metal time, radioactive time. So of course, I try to keep you all out of space. That's the end of time. Hot red claws at the window like a giant crab in slag heaps of smoldering metal. I, the broker, smiled and held out a lesbian dwarf who had perfected the lung erection that strangles a sleeping spirit with vile tendrils of bland paranoid vertical, while all the mystics and saints, suckers, cunts, marks, I hate you all! And I never intended to cut you in or pay you off with anything but horse shit. Is that clear enough? Or shall I make it even clearer? You are the suckers, cunts, marks I invented to explode this dead whistle stop, this heavy planet become death. When I become death, death is the seed from which I grow. In a square littered with black bones, I encountered a group of 5 scorpion men, faces of transparent pink cartilage burning inside, stingers dripping with poison. Their eyes flared with electric hate. They slithered forward to an area of tattoo booths and sex parlors, emitting a music like wind through fine metal wires. Black beetle musicians see this music out of the air, swept by continual hot winds from plains that surround the crustacean city, ravaged by soil exhaustion and dead eyes empty of curiosity as unusual strangers wander in out of the atomic war. In this place, where the unknown past addressed one of the emergent futures, we stepped 5 necessary steps into the clearing and felt the crushing, vibrating, soundless hum. Larval entities, weight of evil, insect control, waiting for a live one. Forcing me with eyeless worms feeling slowly to the surface, their seed planting in this human host. We walk, skilled in the treatment of dawn diseases dormant in the black. When we came to a dust of ruined cities, a clearing where I could see virulence in the white blood, an enemy. I have an epilogue. I, seller of orgone tanks and relaxing machines, I, a broker of exquisite walking dreams and memories tested on the sensitized cells of junk body sickness and raw spirit, I am the addict. I tinker the word. Everything is permitted. His unspeakable mutilation of junk reduced to pure fills the room, and her burned habit, offering precarious vegetable serenity through the liquids of talking longevity serums, excuses curl from her mouth, and telepathic sensitivity spurts in orgasm after synthesized, souped-up orgasm. A green-light Harleen wife of Christ hung in reality. I am reality, and I am hooked on reality. Confusion hath fucked his masterpiece.